Now, the schedule is out for the pre-Christmas first and second round stage of the tournament. Lots of good matches on the offering right now, but if you could go to just one session, which one would it be?
Yeah, there's a few on there. And Barry Hearn, if you're listening, we know you sometimes tune in to listen to two of your fellow darts anoraks. I'd happily take a ticket off your hands for any of the sessions if they are available, and VIP as well would be nice. But looking down that schedule, yeah, there's some great sessions to look forward to before Christmas. And I'll start off with Monday night in a moment, but the tournament, it does start on Sunday night this year, which is, I think, a little bit unusual. I don't recall it kicking off on a Sunday night very often, but it does mean we go straight into the double sessions on that Monday, the day after, which, if you don't work from home or you don't have access to the darts to have it on whilst you're working, it's not ideal. But the Monday night, which is after work on the 16th, I think there's 4 great games in prospect there. Neil Zonneveld against Robert Owen kicking off the night. The stack attack, I know you're an admirer of his, Burton. He was a late call-up after Dom Taylor's unfortunate suspension, and I think that's a close game on paper. Then you've got Connor Scott against Ben Robb. Ben looking for his first win at Ali Pali, and he never seems to get a kind draw, because Connor Scott, the Challenge Tour champion, looking to cement his spot in the top 64 after a brilliant run to the quarterfinals in Minehead. And if he can do that, he's going to take all that money that he won this year into next year with a 1-year tour card instead. Then you've got Cameron Menzies against Leonard Gates. I don't think I need to say too much more for that one. That's going to be an entertaining game. And then rounding off the night, Gerwin Price against Kim Hybrex or Kim Barry. And I think either of those two can give Price a test in the second round. 2 other sessions I want to give a mention to. Thursday, the 19th of December, the evening session, you've got Nick Kenny against Stowe Bunce, Mensah Suljovic against Matt Campbell, Scott Williams against Nico Springer, a couple of names I mentioned just a moment ago. And then that session rounded off with Michael Smith against either Kevin Dutz or Noah Lynn van Leuven. And you'd expect it to be Kevin Dutz. And if it is, that's a rematch of the opening night at Ali Pali 12 months ago, that 5-set thriller that we had between Smith and Dutz. That was when Smith was the then reigning and defending world champion. So an exciting prospect there if those two go up against each other. And lastly, if you're looking for name power, and this is probably what a lot of our listeners are looking for in terms of a ticket for the opening rounds, Saturday the 21st of December, the evening session, you've got Raymond van Barneveld kicking off his campaign against either Kenny or Bunce. Luke Littler, he's returned to Ali Pali. He'll either play Ryan Meikle or Fallon Sherrock. Damon Heta, another contender, he's going up against Connor Scott or Ben Robb. And the first game of the night, you've got Danny Noppert against one of our guests this week, Ryan Joyce or Darius Labanauskas, who's just won the Modus Super Series Champions Week at the weekend. So if I had to choose one of them, I think I'm going to go with that Monday night. It's the 3rd session of the tournament, still very early days, but it's a very interesting lineup. All 4 matches I want to watch, and yeah, I know where I'm going to be on Monday night after work, enjoying the darts.
Yeah, I had a feeling we'd have a lot of the same ones written down, and we were talking about it before. I think there's one that is a clear standout to me, but I think they did such a good job dividing the matches this time around, so that obviously every session is going to have some good matches because there's so many good players. But even like those matches that are a little bit more niche and maybe only a few of us are going to want to watch, they've spread them out for me. So it made it a little harder to find those standout sessions, because all the sessions actually seem pretty interesting to me. So you said 3, I had 4 written down, and you said the 3 of the 4 I had written down. The only one you didn't say, so I'll start with that one before going to the one that would be the one I chose, and that's the Tuesday afternoon, December 17th. And that's my dark horse session in terms of it might not jump out, but I actually think it's a pretty interesting session. You have the Canadian qualifier, Jim Long there. Of course, he had a deep run earlier this year in the World Seniors Championships, won a pair of CDC titles. He's had a very, very good year and qualified through being the highest ranked Canadian on the CDC Order of Merit, going against Jim Hurl. I think that's a big opportunity for him to pull the upset. Then it's Kevin Dotz. If he wins, it's a rematch of the second round last year against Michael Smith, but going against Noah Lynn van Leuven, who we've seen average 105 in a final this year in the women's series. I think that could be a very good match, especially if Noah Lynn brings her best game. She still is a bit inconsistent. she's still prone to have matches where she'll be averaging in the 70s, but she also has matches where she's averaging in the hundreds. We'll see which Noah Lynn shows up, but that could be a good match if she's on her A game or close to it. After that, Ryan Joyce against Darius Labanauskas. As you mentioned, Labanauskas won the Moda Super Series. We just heard from Ryan Joyce. I think both of them are going to come in very good form. And then Mike DeDecker against either Luke Woodhouse or Lawrence Ilagan, a player who I'm very high on. I think that's a really, really good session. And one that might fly a little bit under the radar. But the best session, the one I want to go to, is that one that you called the Star Power session, the Saturday evening one, because it has the star power, but it also has what will likely be at least 3, if not 4, really good matches. Danny Noppert against either Ryan Joyce or Darius Labanauskas is a match that can go either way now that Labanauskas is playing well again. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that Labanauskas made it all the way to the quarterfinals of the PDC World Championships. He's not been anywhere near that player over the last few years. That's why he fell off the tour. But over the last 6 to 9 months, he has been playing better. He can cause Ryan Joyce problems. And obviously, Ryan Joyce, he should win that match, or is likely to win that match, will cause Danny Noppert problems if he gets into that match. Raymond Van Barneveld against either Nick Kenny or Sto Bunce. Sto Bunce, he showed that he's not afraid of anyone when he made the quarterfinals of the Grand Slam a couple years ago. We haven't seen as much from Nick Kenny, but he had probably his best year in the PDC. Luke Littler against Ryan Meikle or Fallon Sherrick. I think Luke Littler speaks for himself. Fallon Sherrick speaks for herself. Ryan Meikle, very, very good player, and one who likes to run a bit. And then the last match, Damon Hedda, most likely against Connor Scott, possibly against Ben Robb. Connor Scott is a player who I should have mentioned on the dark horse list. I think he's a player who he's weird to think of going against a very good player, Damon Hedda, being a dream job. I think it's a big opportunity for him to get a big scalp if he gets through that first round. That's one of the matches of the second round, assuming he gets past Ben Robb. So that's the session I would go to because I really don't want to miss any of those matches.